Can you all see my screen? Hello? Can you see my screen? Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Muhammad, can you hear me? Okay, you can see my screen or you can't? Muhammad? Hello? Muhammad, can you hear me? Okay, now, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Hello? Can you see my screen? Fine. What will we solve today? We will solve November 2023, variant 21. Okay, I'll start
بس
immediately.
الحاجات دي مش موجودة في الباست بيبرز صح؟
Why not? I don't know. I don't remember. I think the 2023, they are present. Let me see. Let me see. I'll answer this question. 1 minute. Past papers. 2023 exams, I don't think they are in your past papers because they were issued in September. 1 minute. Paper 3. I'll check and I'll be sure. All combined. Yeah, we're talking about past papers. You have past papers part 2. Okay. It ends at March 2023. Yes, March 2023. The November and the June, they were issued in September, so they're not in your past papers. Good. We are solving the recent ones. Okay, so yes, they're not. We'll solve them together. So this is November 2023, variant 21. Okay, let's be quick. Now, some processes carried out by living organisms are listed: digestion, excretion, reproduction, respiration. Which processes are carried out by all living organisms? A, B, C, or D? Then
دي
let me see. Why did you choose D? Okay, D says 3 and 4 only. Okay, what about excretion, my dear? Excretion is one
yes
of the processes, yeah? So it is not D. It is what? Digestion,
C.
no. It is, yes, 2 and 3 and 4. So it is C. Okay, 2. The scientific name for humans is Homo sapiens. What does Homo refer to? Muhammad, I want you to answer. What does Homo refer to? The genus or the species? I have 3 boys. I don't know why don't they speak up. Omar, Muhannad, can you tell me what is
Yes,
the answer
miss.
here? Tell me, my dear, what is Homo? Homo sapiens. Homo is the genus or the species? Very easy question.
Genus.
Yes. Okay. Some structures, I just want to make sure that I'm recording. Yeah. Okay, some structures found in cells are listed. We have cell membrane, cell wall, mitochondria, nucleus. Which structures are found in prokaryotes? Now tell me, prokaryotes are animals, plants, or bacteria?
bacteria.
Yes. Okay, what are the structures found in all prokaryotes? Do they have, what don't they have from 1, 2, 3, and 4?
They don't have nucleus.
Correct. And also they don't have,
Cell wall.
of course they do. Bacteria, they have a cell wall. Now, a quick revision between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, because this is supplement. The eukaryotes, these are the cells that have a nucleus, like the animal and the plant cells. They have a nucleus and they have all the organelles, the mitochondria, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosomes, and they are larger and they're more complicated. Now, the prokaryotes, these are the cells that have no nucleus, like the bacteria, and we take the bacteria as a typical example. The bacteria, they do have a cell wall, but their cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. It's not made up of cellulose like plants. They have no nucleus, like you said, and they have only one organelle. They don't have rough endoplasmic reticulum or mitochondria or smooth endoplasmic reticulum. What is the only organelle found in prokaryotes? Now, this is important. The only organelle, the smallest organelle that produces proteins. I'm trying to help you.
Plasmid.
Yes, they have a plasmid, but this is not an organelle. This is genetic material. They have circular DNA, and some of them have additional plasmids. Some don't. Now, what is the only organelle in the prokaryote that produces proteins that is present in prokaryotes? What's the organelle that produces proteins?
Ribosomes.
Starts with yes. So the ribosomes, the prokaryotes, they have only one organelle, ribosomes. That's it. Now, this question is very common in multiple choice. The differences between the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Eukaryotes, these are the animal cells or the plant cells or the yeast, the fungi. These are sometimes unicellular, sometimes multicellular, but they're larger and they have a nucleus and they have all the organelles. And the prokaryotes, they are confined to the bacteria. This is the example that we take. Bacteria, they have a cell membrane, of course, and they have a cell wall, but the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. They don't have a nucleus. They don't have rough endoplasmic reticulum or smooth or mitochondria. They don't have these organelles. They only have one organelle, the smallest in size, which is the ribosome that produces proteins. You should all hear me now.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. Okay. Now I want to be quick. I'll go back quickly. Yes. Now we were talking about question 4. In a mesophyll cell, where are chloroplasts found? So easy. Between the cell wall and cell membrane, or in the cytoplasm, or in the nucleus, or in the vacuole? This is a year 9 question.
Cytoplasm.
Of course, cytoplasm. Okay. I don't know what's happening with my pen. Now, the diagram shows a flatworm. The flatworm has been magnified by 100. So this number is important. It's the magnification. And you have here the size of the flatworm in millimeters. Put this in mind. What is the actual size of the flatworm? Now, who will tell me how you will do question 5? Remind
I
me
will
what?
divide
Image over magnification.
Yes. Okay. A or over M. We wanted the actual size. So you will divide the image over the magnification. That's it. What is the value for the image? What's the value
Micrometers.
of the image that is provided? Be patient. What is the value of the image that is provided here in the question?
50.
50. Okay, this is 50 millimeters divided by the magnification, which is 100. So the first step, I will divide 50 by 100. And then what will be my second step? To convert it to millimeters.
Multiply my 1000.
Yes. So 50 divided by 100 will be 0.5. You cannot keep it like that and look for an answer, or you will choose A. A is wrong. 0.5 times 1000, this will be 500. So the answer will be D, 5D. Okay, let's make sure. 5D, correct. Okay, so don't ignore the conversion step. 6, the diagrams show how a cell appears under the microscope at the start of an experiment and after it has been placed in a dilute solution. Dilute, put a line under dilute solution after 5 minutes. So now this is how it looks like at the start of the experiment and here after 5 minutes. Which statement explains what happens? A, dissolved salts enter the cell by diffusion. Dissolved salts leave the cell by diffusion. Water enter the cells by osmosis or leaves the cell by osmosis. Now, this is also very easy. What's the answer? 6?
C.
Correct. Okay, we said the first 20 questions, the first 30, we have to get them right because the first 30 are easy. The last 10 are the ones that are tricky. 7, the concentration of nitrate ions is higher inside a root hair cell than in the soil. What would be required for the absorption of nitrate ions into the root hair cell? Mitochondria, oxygen, membrane proteins, cell wall. Good. Now, this is a nice question. What is needed for the absorption of any ion into the root hair cell?
Active transport.
Of course, active transport. Then which letter will we choose?
B.
Correct. 1, 2, and 3. Is cell wall needed in active transport?
No.
No. Well done. Okay. Now this can be tricky. If you don't study well, this can be tricky. 8. What is the color change shown by Benedict when heated with reducing sugar? Again, until now, very easy. A positive
B.
result. What color? Yes, correct. Good girl. Okay, 9. The diagram shows the digestive system. Which part absorbs the most water? A, B, C, or D?
B.
Wrong.
D.
Which part absorbs the most water? The small intestine. Yes, D. 9D. 9D. Okay. 9D. Correct. It's the small intestine. Don't forget, it's the small intestine that absorbs the most water. Yes, the large intestine also absorbs water, but the most of the water is absorbed by the small intestine. Okay. Now, which statement is correct? The active site of an enzyme has the same shape as the substrate. The active site is not affected by changes in temperature. The active site of the shape of the active site of an enzyme is complementary to a substrate, or the substrate and product combine at the active site. Which statement is the most correct? The one that we use
C.
the most. Correct. Okay, C. Okay, if you tell me also the B is correct or A is correct, okay, in case like you have another argument, but you have to choose one, and C is the most correct. 11. The graph shows how the rate of photosynthesis of a plant changes with light intensity at 3 different carbon dioxide concentrations. In each case, the temperature is 15, so the temperature is constant. Now, what is the limiting factor for the rate of photosynthesis at point X on the graph? Look at point
Carbon
X.
dioxide concentration.
A.
Yes, it's very easy because carbon dioxide increased, and when this happened, the rate of photosynthesis increased. Very easy. It's easy if you understand it. Here, it cannot be light intensity because we are already increasing the light intensity. And even though the light intensity is increasing, the rate of photosynthesis is constant. So the light intensity is not a limiting factor. Something else is the limiting factor. The diagram shows a test tube at the start and end of an enzyme experiment, enzyme plus substrate after 10 minutes at a temperature of 35 degrees. It will be enzyme and products. At the end of the experiment, the mixture in the test tube contains glycerol. Which row correctly identifies the enzyme and substrate? Again, so easy, so easy. Huh?
C.
B.
12, one said C, one said, who said B? Glycerol, glycerol. No, B is right or wrong?
Wrong. Sorry.
Of course, be careful, okay? This is a very easy question. It is C, because the lipase enzyme will break down fats into fatty acid and glycerol. So it's a C. We don't want to do mistakes in the first 30 questions. Which tooth is the molar?
D.
Yes. Remember yesterday? They were asking about a premolar, which was A. Good. What is meant by chemical digestion? Large insoluble are broken down to small soluble, or large soluble broken down to small insoluble, or small insoluble. What is A, B, C, D? Tell me.
A.
A. It's very easy. Okay. Now the diagram shows a villi in the small intestine. What is X? What is absorbed at X?
Fatty acids.
Well done. What if they tell you name X? What is X?
Lactine.
Excellent. Part of the lymphatic system. Okay, amazing. What is the description of transpiration? Exchange of gases between the leaf and the atmosphere, or loss of water vapor from the leaves of a plant, or movement of water from the roots to the leaves, or movement of water through the cells of the leaf. Very obvious.
B.
B.
Yes, of course it's B. Of course it's B. It is the evaporation of water vapor. Okay. Now, parts of a plant are listed: mesophyll, root cortex, root hair cell, xylem. This is an important question. What is the pathway taken by water in the plant? What do we always start with? Water down there.
Root hair cells.
Of course,
And then
root hair cell.
cortex.
If you remember, yes, well done. If you remember our picture, this is the root and the xylem is in the center. And then we draw a large root hair cell. Of course, it's not that big, but we're just trying to represent one root hair cell. And then the water will enter from the soil into the root hair cell and then pass through a group of cells known as root cortex until it reaches the central xylem. Okay, so we have starting with 3 root hair cell. And then what else?
Root
Hello?
cortex.
Cells.
Yes, so the answer is A, B, C, or D?
D.
D.
Correct. Excellent. Okay. The diagram shows how a single circulation of fish and a double circulation of a mammal. So they are comparing. Now, which letters represent areas with the most oxygenated blood? Now, also, this is a nice question. Let me narrow it down. Which vessels will show you the blood that is oxygenated? I will not
B.
help you with this question. Correct. B. Can you tell me why did you choose B?
Because in the single circulation, S has the blood that just left the gills,
Well done. And
and
in
in
Y?
double circulation in Y, it's just left the lungs.
Very good. Anything that leaves the lungs or the gills contains highest amount of oxygen. Good girl. Okay. Now, what is the role of the lymphocytes in the blood? What do the lymphocytes do?
Antibody production.
Yes, you're right. Antibody production, of course. 20. A patient was injected with antibodies after being bitten by a snake. The patient recovered and survived. What describes the effect of the injection in the patient's body? When you receive ready-made antibodies, what type of immunity is that?
Hazard.
Well done. So, are memory cells produced?
No.
No, correct.
Short
So
term.
is this, it's D. Okay, memory cells are not produced and it is not active immunity, so it's D. Good. Which table correctly shows the difference in composition of inspired air compared with expired air? Look, in A, okay, the inspired air has less oxygen. Is A correct?
No.
No.
No, no way you will breathe in air with less oxygen. Okay, let's look at B. In inspired air again, It has less oxygen. Can B be correct?
No.
No.
No, no way. So I'll cross it out. C. In inspired air, oxygen is more. Yes. Expired air, it's less. And in CO2, inspired air, it's less. And expired air is more. What do you think of C?
C is correct.
Yes, it's correct. Okay. Which row shows the correct combination of muscle contractions and the pressure in the thorax when breathing out? Now, you get confused because you don't read the question correctly. It's exhalation, not inhalation, breathing out. So, which muscles will contract without looking at the question? What will contract when you breathe out?
Internal intercostal.
Excellent. The internal intercostal muscle. So the answer is either A or B. I will cross out C or D. Okay. So I will narrow down my answers. Now, if the internal intercostal muscle will contract, what will relax?
External
Diaphragm.
intercostal.
Very good. The external. And who are friends with the external?
The
Diaphragm.
diaphragm.
So it will also relax. Excellent. So the answer looks as if it is A or B.
B.
Of course, B. And the pressure will increase so that the air is pushed out. Now, the boys, are you with me? I have 2 boys here, maybe more, but they're not speaking. What's going on here? Okay, let's continue. 3 statements about anaerobic respiration are listed. In humans, the product is lactic acid. In yeast, the product is lactic acid. It releases more energy per glucose molecule than aerobic. Now, which statements are correct? Is 2 correct?
No.
2 cannot be correct. So I will choose an answer that has no 2. So I will exclude A, I will exclude B, and it might be C or D. Is it C or D?
C.
In humans, the product is lactic acid, correct. Okay. It releases more energy per glucose molecule than aerobic respiration. No, aerobic respiration produces more energy. So 3 is wrong. 24. What is the balanced chemical equation for a type of respiration that occurs in yeast? Can you choose A, B, C, or D?
C.
C, let me see. This is glucose broken down into alcohol and carbon dioxide, and it is balanced, correct. Now, if you notice, this question is repeated. It was repeated in variant 22, the one we solved yesterday and today. Which labeled structure is the urethra?
D.
Not the
D.
ureter. D, correct. Now, what is the ureter?
C.
C.
Yes, the C is the ureter, correct. The diagram shows 3 types of neurons. Now, we drew these on the board so many times. You tell me without answering, without reading the question, which one is the sensory? L, M, or N?
L.
Yes, because the cell body is to the side, so this is the sensory. Now, the smallest one, M, is the motor or the relay?
Relay.
Correct, excellent. And there's another name, a way to know that it's a relay, because the axon is not covered by myelin sheaths, in case you want to know details. Now, what is N?
Motor.
Yes,
Motor.
a typical nerve cell is the motor. Good. Now, which sequence shows the direction that impulses will travel along a reflex action? Now, remember, how do we study the reflex action, the pathway? Remember Sir, me? Sir, remember it? Okay.
Yes.
Which sequence
Yes.
shows the direction? We will start with which nerve cell?
Sensory. And then
Sensory.
receptor.
Correct. So the answer is
A.
sensory, then relay, not receptor. Sensory, then relay, then motor. Let me remind you, you have stimulus, okay, and then receptor, and then sensory, relay, motor, and then effector. So it's A, yes. Okay, 26, A, definitely A. Okay, very good. We're nearly halfway through. Which statement about rods and cones and the eye is correct? Both rods and cones detect different colors of light, or only cones are present in the blind spot? Rods are more sensitive than cones in low light intensity. There are 3 types of rods, but only 1 type of cone. What is the answer?
C.
I can't hear you.
C.
Correct. Okay. Now, this is a nice question. It will help us revise this part. Both rods and cones detect different colors of light. This is not true. Rods for dim light and cones for bright light. Only cones are present in the blind spot. Why is B wrong? Are there any light sensitive cells in the blind spot?
No.
No. Okay. D, there are 3 types of rods, but only 1 type of cone. Why is D wrong? We
Because
have
cones
3
are the ones
types.
that detect color.
Excuse me, I did not hear you.
Because cones are the ones that have 3 types.
Yes, you are right. Okay. 28. Which diseases can be successfully treated with antibiotics? Diseases caused by bacteria or rickets or diseases caused by viruses? 28. A, B, C, or D?
B.
B.
Correct. Okay. Now let's remember rickets together. What is the type of disease, rickets? What do we call it?
Deficiency
Lack of
disease.
vitamin Z.
Yes, you're both correct. It's got nothing to do with bacteria or virus. It's a deficiency disease. 29. Which statement about human sexual reproduction is correct? All gametes are haploid, or fertilization occurs when 2 diploid nuclei fuse, or the sperm is the male zygote, or sexual reproduction results in haploid offspring. Wait, give me a second. Now, Omar, can you give me an answer, please? 29.
C.
My dearest Omar, the sperm is the male zygote. The sperm, is it
No,
a
no.
zygote or not? Okay, then C is wrong, my dear. What's the answer?
Uh,
Mm,
D.
okay. Sexual reproduction results in haploid offspring. Is D correct, my dear? You are an offspring. Are you haploid? Do you only have 1 set of chromosomes?
No.
Okay, of course not. So D is definitely wrong. Don't throw the answer. Read it first. It's A or B? What do you think?
A.
Of course, my dear, it's A. Okay, I'm sure you know the answer, but you just were impulsive and you did not read it. Okay, now starting 30 to 40, I want you to concentrate. Where is oxygen produced?
B.
Yes, ovaries. Okay. Which row shows correct information about mitosis? Cells produced by mitosis. Okay, are genetically different? Is A correct? Will I even continue?
No.
No.
No, no way, no way. Mitosis do not produce genetically different cells. B, are genetically different to the parent cell. Again, do I continue even bothering with B?
No.
No.
No, I will not even bother myself. C, are genetically identical to the parent cell. Okay, this can be right. Now, the number of chromosomes in the daughter cells compared to the parent cell. We are talking about mitosis, don't forget. Half the number. Is C correct, boys?
No. No.
No, it's not half the number. So the answer has to be D. They are genetically identical, yes, and they are the same number. Do you all agree? You're all with me? Okay, now the family tree that always confuses you. Polydactyly is a condition that occurs in cats and results in affected individuals having extra toes. By the way, just for your information, this disease can also happen in humans when you have more than 5 fingers. The diagram shows the inheritance of the condition in a family of cats. Okay, pay attention. Here you have, look at the key always. Here you have a healthy female cat, and this you have here a sick male cat. So this is a healthy mother and a father with more toes, and then they bred together and they got children. 2 of them were healthy and 1 of them were sick. Okay. Now, before I continue, what does this tell you about the parents? Were they both heterozygous, or one of them was heterozygous and the other was homozygous recessive, or one of them was homozygous dominant?
One is dominant.
One is dominant. What do you mean one is dominant? Homozygous dominance, you mean?
Yes.
Okay, is your answer
Oh,
right or
no,
wrong?
sorry, heterozygous.
Hmm,
Heterozygous.
okay, Okay, now one of them is homozygous dominant. This is an incorrect answer because if one of the parents was homozygous dominant, we still don't know if this disease is dominant or recessive. But if one of them was homozygous dominant, then all the children will show one type of phenotype. But this is not the case. We see 3 children, 2 of them showing one phenotype and the other child is showing a second phenotype. So those parents were either, they cannot be both heterozygous. They cannot be both heterozygous. And they cannot be with one that is homozygous dominant for the reason that we mentioned. So this means that one of the parents, we don't know which yet, one of the parents is heterozygous and the other is homozygous recessive. We don't know which yet. Okay, again, one of the parents cannot be homozygous dominant because if one of the parent was homozygous dominant, let's say P capital, all the children will show this phenotype. But is this the case? Did all the children show one type of phenotype?
No.
No.
So none of the parents are homozygous dominant. We will exclude that. One of the parents is healthy and the other is sick. So one of them has to be homozygous recessive and the other has to be heterozygous, but we don't know which because we don't know still if this disease is dominant or recessive. If this sick parent or this disease was homozygous recessive, then this sick parent will be homozygous recessive. And if this disease was dominant, then this sick parent would be heterozygous. We still don't know. Let's look at the second breeding. We have here 2 parents. Let me change color. Give me a second. We have here 2 parents. In the second, we have 2 parents. They're both sick. Put this in mind. But they had children that 2 of them are sick and 1 of them is healthy. So when both parents are sick, what does this mean? Both of them are sick and they have 3 children. 2 of them, most of them are sick, but 1 of them is healthy. What does this mean about the parents? Are one of the parents homozygous dominant?
No.
No. Okay. Are both parents homozygous recessive?
No.
No.
No. This means that both parents are heterozygous because in the children, both phenotypes appeared. Okay. So we agree that both parents are heterozygous. Now, in the children, look at the children. 2 out of 3 were sick and 1 out of 3 was healthy. So the majority was sick. So this sickness is dominant or recessive?
Dominant.
Dominant.
Yes. So the answer is C. Okay. This is a very tricky question, by the way. Fine. So how do we know it's dominant? Because when we look at the second breeding, both parents are sick and most of the children are sick. 2/3 are sick and only 1/3 is healthy. When most of the children are sick, this means that this disease is dominant. Now we have to go look at the mic scheme to make sure. 32, 32, 32. Where's 32? C. Yes, I think we're right. It is dominant. Okay, I'm going to highlight this question so that if you want to go back and revise it. 32. Okay, I messed it up. Okay, we have nearly 7 more and we will finish the exam. This photomicrograph shows a cross-section through a grass leaf. Now, which feature is an adaptation of an xerophyte? This is an important question. Which feature here in this leaf is an adaptation of an xerophyte? Can you remind me what is an xerophyte?
Miss,
It
Doctor,
lives
can
in
see the
dry.
screen.
I did not hear you. It lives in dry or wet conditions.
We can see the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 minute. Where did you go? Can you see the screen now? Can you
Yes.
see the screen now? Okay. Now here, this picture, this plant, those hairs. I just told you the answer. Oh my God. Now this leaf, it is living in dry conditions or wet conditions, and why?
Dry conditions.
Yes, it's an xerophyte. Now, why did you choose dry conditions?
Because it has spines.
No.
Sick.
No, not spines. This is the inside of the leaf, by the way. These are not spines. These are microscopic hairs. Yes. Okay, this is a nice picture. You know, this picture is so common in AS biology. They love this picture. And they get it in paper 3, and you see it under the microscope, and you're supposed to discuss what the hairs do and their name. So this is a very popular picture in this syllabus. So I want you to, not in your syllabus, actually, in the AS syllabus, but they got it in paper 2 here. So let me mark it. I want you to be familiar with this syllabus. This picture, this is a leaf of a plant that lives in the desert. And this leaf, okay, is curled, as you can see. It's curled and facing inward. So the leaf is curled. And this type of leaf is called the hinge leaf. You don't have to know its name. You just need to know that it's curled to reduce the surface area to prevent water loss. And also the inside of the leaf, this is the inside of the leaf here. It has a lot of microscopic hairs. Those hairs, they reduce water loss or increase water loss. What do you think?
Reduce.
Yes. In
Reduce.
case they ask you why or how do they reduce water loss, what do you think? They increase or reduce humidity?
Reduce.
So if they reduce humidity, they will cause more transpiration.
Increasing humidity.
They increase. Yes, they increase. Look, I'll tell you something. Maybe it's a little bit advanced, but it's nice to understand things. Here is the stomata. The stomata is sunken. We did take some adaptations of xerophytes, and one of the adaptations is that the stomata is hidden. Okay, it's hiding so that we want to reduce water loss. Now, around the stomata, we have microscopic hairs called trichomas. These hairs, they will allow the water vapor to saturate here. The water will suspend here. So we will have a lot of humidity around the stomata, and this will reduce transpiration. Okay, so which feature is an adaptation of an xerophyte? You will only choose B, the presence of hairs. But they might get another question asking you, those hairs, how do they reduce water loss? The answer will be increasing or reducing humidity.
Increasing.
Yes, increasing humidity, because you should know that transpiration will be reduced by any increase in humidity. Okay? In case, it's better to be safe than sorry. 34. Some statements about mutations are given. 1. A random change in the amino acid sequence in DNA causes gene mutation. A mutation is a genetic change. Ionizing radiation decreases the rate of mutation. New alleles are formed by mutations. Which statements are correct? Now we'll take one by one. What did you say?
B.
B? No, B is wrong. Tell me. Number
D.
1, a random change. D, 2, and 4. Yes, D looks right to me. But let's break it down. Now, why is 1 wrong? Look at 1. A random change in the amino acid sequence in DNA causes gene mutation. Why is number 1 incorrect?
مش amino acid.
Bravo. DNA does not contain, excellent, amino acid. It contains a sequence of bases. So 1 is wrong. Pay attention. 2, a mutation is a genetic change. By the way,
Yes.
2 can be correct. I did not say that 2 is wrong, but we studied a particular definition in our syllabus for mutation. What is this definition?
Change in the
Change in
DNA
the DNA
sequence.
base sequence.
Yes, it's a change in the base sequence. So if I am you, I will put next to 2 question mark. I'm not sure. 3, ionizing radiation decreases the rate of mutation. What do you think, boys? Radiation increases or decreases mutation?
Increases.
Increases.
Of course. So 3 is wrong. So I'm going to exclude any option that has number 3. So 3 is wrong. And I will exclude any option that has 1. So A is wrong, and B is wrong, and C is wrong. We will be left only with D. New alleles are formed by mutations. Is this right or wrong?
Right.
Right.
Of course it's right. So 2 and 4 are right. So the answer is definitely D. Okay, I told you from question 30 to question 40, it's tricky. 30, 40. Yes. So from question 30 to question 40 is the tricky questions. 35. The graph shows the growth of a population of rabbits in one area, X and Y. Which statement are correct? At X, the birth rate is higher than the death rate.
Yes, we can
At
see the
X,
question.
why? Let me represent again. Okay, better now?
Yes.
Okay. Now we have here a graph, the population curve. If you remember, at X, the birth rate is higher than the death rate. At X, there are no deaths and the population is limited by a lack of food. At Y, the birth rate and the death rate are equal. Now, which statements are wrong?
2.
2 is wrong.
is
At
wrong.
X, there are no deaths and the population is limited by a lack of food. No, at X, actually, there are limiting factors or no limiting factors.
No limiting factors.
No limiting.
Yes, so 2 is wrong. Okay. 1 at X, the birth rate is higher than the death rate. Is 1 right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 3 at Y, the birth rate and the death rate are equal. Is 3 correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so the answer is B, correct. Someone said B at the beginning. Okay. Now 36. In guinea pigs, the allele for black fur is dominant and the allele for white fur is recessive. So if I am you, I'll do this. Okay. A test cross can be used to determine the genotype of a guinea pig with a black fur. What would be the expected result of the test cross if the guinea pig with black fur was homozygous? So I have a test cross and an unknown guinea pig that is black. Now the test cross, I'm going to take this black pig and I will cross it with what? What will be the genotype of the test cross? What is a test cross? Remind me.
Homozygous recessive.
Good girl. Okay, so I'll take a pig that is not black. It is homozygous recessive. So what color will this pig be?
White.
White.
Correct. Okay. Now this black pig, I don't know. He might be homozygous and he might be heterozygous, but he is homozygous because the question told me that he is homozygous. Then all the children will be black. I just gave you the answer. My God. Then all the children will be what? What will be the answer?
C.
C. Yeah. I just told you the answer. Okay. The diagram shows part of the nitrogen cycle. Please don't ignore the nitrogen cycle. They love it. They did not get it in paper 4, so they will get it in paper 2. Which row shows the correct processes for R, S, and T? Now, the boys, please answer the question. What is R? Look at R. Be patient. We have nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, and then it will become nitrates in the soil. So what is R?
Nitrogen fixation.
Excellent. So R is the nitrogen fixation. Good. Now, where is S? This is S here. We have ammonium ions in the soil, and then a process happens by bacteria. It will become nitrates in the soil. So what is S?
Nitrification.
Good. Nitrification. Boys, are you with me? The nitrification, the conversion of the ammonium compounds into the nitrates in the soil. I hope you remember. You know, there's the last letter T, this T here. Process, you have nitrates in the soil that will change to nitrogen gas in the atmosphere. So what is T? Who will remind me? Denitrification. Well done. So this is completely asking you about the nitrogen cycle. So we already said that. We said T is denitrification. So denitrification should be B or C. Okay. Then what's the answer? You tell me. Nitrogen fixation. We said
C.
nitrogen fixation is R. Yes, C. Correct. During eutrophication, what causes the death of fish? I will not read it. 10. 2 more questions.
D.
D.
Decreased concentration of oxygen. Yes, well done. Okay. Now, 39. Which product is made using an enzyme rather than bacteria or fungi? Which
Penicillin.
product? No. Penicillin is not made
Lactose-free milk.
using. Yes, lactose-free milk. What is the enzyme that is used to make lactose-free milk?
Lactase.
Lactase. Good. It will break down the lactose into what? Who remembers?
Galactose and
Glucose and galactose. Yes, well done. The last question. Some ways in which humans make use of organisms are listed. 1. Using yeast to produce ethanol, artificial selection of sheep with thick wool, using bacteria to produce human substances. What are the examples of genetic modification?
2 and 3. See?
Okay, 1 minute. 2. Artificial selection of sheep with thick wool. Is artificial selection genetic modification?
No.
No. Now, this question is very tricky. You know why? Because here you have to understand what is artificial selection, what is biotechnology, and what is genetic modification. If you remember, we had a term called biotechnology and another term known as the genetic modification. And the terms are actually obvious. In genetic modification, I will play around with the genes. I will take the gene from one organism and I will put it in another organism. In biotechnology, am I playing around with any genes?
no.
No. I am using some organisms to my advantage, but I am not playing around with any genes. Like, for example, I will add some enzymes to my washing powders so that I will make the washing more efficient, but I did not play around with genes. In artificial selection, did I play around with genes?
No.
No, I simply chose who will mate with who. Yes, I did interfere with the reproduction process, but I did not play around with genes. So those are 3 different processes. Okay, so which are examples of genetic modification? There is only one example where I did play around with genes.
D.
Yes, D. Very good. Because we did take example 3 in detail, using bacteria to produce human substances. If you remember, we used bacteria to produce human insulin. Remember the example that we studied? It was one example that was clearly mentioned in the syllabus. I will take the gene from the bacteria. I will take the plasmid from the bacteria. I will take the insulin gene from a healthy human. I'll fuse them together. I will create a recombinant plasmid. I'll put it in another bacteria. I'm going to allow it to grow. Okay, so the answer is D. Don't get confused. Biotechnology, genetic modification, artificial selection, those are 3 different things altogether. Okay, we finished the exam. Do you want us to solve another exam? Are you okay with that, or we solve another exam on Tuesday?
On Tuesday.
Okay, but you will solve another one today. So you solve another one, we solved one together. When you're free, go solve another biology exam. If you have any questions, send me, and we'll meet on Tuesday and solve another exam. So we solve at least 3 exams per week. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions before I go?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.